Welcome to Kathy's Kitchen, where I'm always a hot mess, but my food is always delicious. Tonight is Italian night, so get your red out, guys. Make sure you pour it so it can breathe, because red is never good straight out of the bottle. You need to allow it to breathe. So we got our red going, and you can drink any. Red is normally served room temperature. However, you can drink it cold if you want to, but it's better room temperature, and it goes well with Italian food. The acidity offsets the dryness of the wine. So let's get started. I cut my finger the other day, so I'm going to wear gloves the entire night, simply because of safety reasons. I don't want any blood to ooze out, or because you can knock a cut when you're cooking and make it bust open a little bit and not realize it. So to keep from that happening, I'm going to wear my blue gloves all night. Also, my apron, my mom and dad had made for me on one of their mini trips. I believe it's from Israel, but I cannot remember if it's from Israel or from Mexico. So this apron is very special to me because my mother always brought back one for me. Okay, also, on the housekeeping side, while we're talking about it, I got my own little kitchen brush pan for my cooking area, so I'm not a big mess. Well, maybe not. Also, on the note of taking care of things, we are encouraging people to go to YouTube, because YouTube is where we're going to be predominantly streaming. We'd like you guys to follow us there. We have a goal right now of 1,000 followers, so we'd really like you guys to get in there and subscribe so that we can get our list up. Jeez, I can't even talk, and I haven't drank any wine. It's a beautiful day today here, by the way, in New England. It's about 70-some degrees and sunny, and that is so awesome in April. So, what should we start with? Let's preheat our oven first. That's always the first thing. You should preheat your oven. That way you know when you're ready to pop something in, it's ready to go. So I'm going to set it to 425 because I'm going to use 425 to do my croutons and some other stuff that you guys are not going to like, because I didn't tell you about them, because they will be on my Patreon page, the recipes, but I will be doing them, finishing them off in here. So, first thing we're going to start with is our croutons. And this time, I had a small loaf of French bread that I'm going to use to make my croutons with. I'm not going to use the whole thing, but I'll probably use about half of it so that I have half of it for another time to make croutons for another day. You can make them ahead of time, but I have found if I make them ahead of time, they get munched on as a snack throughout the day, and then when I go to use them, there is none. So, let's get this cut up. So I'm going to cut this in half. I think I've done this with you guys before. And we made croutons before. We're going to make Caesar salad again to go with our Italian food, because I like Caesar salad with spaghetti. This is a really easy meal. I am going to show you several different sauces. We're going to have 3 sauces tonight, and I'm going to show you vegetarian and meatballs. So normally I would make this for my family, but you can pick and choose for your family. So do according to what your family likes. I am a home of foodies that are picky. They all claim not to be picky, but it's a lie. Even the one that thinks he's the least picky, which we won't drop any names, Andy, he's picky. He just thinks he's not. So we're going to get these cut up and put them in our zippy. Also, if your bread, the less fresh your bread is, the easier it is to cut it into cubes, I will tell you. Okay, let me get rid of my crumbs into my trash can. There we go. Look how clean I'm being. Don't plan on it lasting. Okay. I thought I got everything out. It was a lie. Yes, I have a lot of microwave dishes. You can never have too many. And we're going to put into this some butter. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of butter. into here to melt. Then we're going to add our olive oil and our garlic and stuff and our Italian seasoning to it after it's melted. So let's put this in the microwave. It should take about 30 seconds. These croutons are so good. If you do end up making them for yourself and tasting them, you will never go back. You will always make your own croutons. It is the beautiful thing about it is they're crunchy, but they don't tear up the roof of your mouth like boughten ones are. Because those suckers are like Melba toast. Okay. There we go. We're going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic. Now, as you guys know, I have a fascination with the history of food. So I did some looking up, and I wanted to find out about croutons because, you know, those are used in a lot of dishes. So I was like, I want to find out where. Jeez, I just threw that in there. So I did some looking, and once again, where I think something comes from is not where it comes from. It came from France, and it was inspired by bruschetta. Bruschetta? I don't know. I'm a terrible. If it can be mispronounced, I will mispronounce it. And a guy named William Forster in the 15th century started making croutons, and they've been around since. People put them on their soups, their salads, you name it. They've been floating croutons on stuff. So, we can thank France for that. Actually, we can thank France for a lot of good food, come to think of it. Okay, let's mix this up. We got our garlic and everything in there. Then we're going to add just a smidgen of salt and pepper. About 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to pour this over your bread, like we did before. Take the air out. And massage those babies. Give them a massage. These croutons need a massage. After all, you're going to have them for dinner. They need to be relaxed. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to put it on a cookie sheet. Which, you don't have to do this, but I like to spray it with Pam just because that way I don't have to worry about them sticking. Sometimes they'll stick. Dump them out. Those are ready to go in the oven as soon as our oven is preheated. Now, for our pesto, when you make pesto, I make pesto halfway at the end of each season and I freeze it. This was frozen, I defrosted it. And now I'm going to add, where's my slippers? I need to toast for this. I need 1/4 cup of nuts. So I'm just going to put some on there because that's more than I need, but you know, they're good to eat. So we're going to toast those while our croutons are toasting so we can finish off our pesto. You can make homemade pesto anytime at home, easily. The nuts you can use in pesto are pecans, pistachios, walnuts, pine nuts, just about any nut you like. I think peanuts and cashews are a little over the top. I wouldn't go there. So, we got all that stuff ready. Now, while we're waiting for the oven, we're going to mix up our meatballs. We're going to start with our meaty meatballs. This is an easy one. I'm using 1 pound of Italian sausage. 1 pound of Italian sausage. You can also do half beef and half Italian sausage. You can do all beef. You can do turkey and Italian sausage. It's really your choice of what you want to put in your meatballs. But any ground meat.
Holly says, hi, Mama Kathy.
Hi, my daughter from another. Hi, Holly. Glad you joined us. Although I don't know how much gluten-free I got going on for you, girly. So we're going to add to this a half a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. You did not hear me stutter. We're going to put a half a tablespoon in. Looking for my half tablespoon. I know I have one. There it is. Okay, we're going to put a half a tablespoon, which is a teaspoon and a half, of Italian seasoning in our meatballs. And then we're going to add 4 cloves of garlic because Kathy loves garlic. It's good for you. So we're going to get our 4 cloves of garlic. And minced garlic has the most flavor. The least amount of flavor is a whole piece of garlic in this recipe. So, and then the next would be crushed. Then the next intense would be chopped. And the very highest intense flavor comes from mincing, which is what we're doing here, pressing. So we're going to put our garlic in here. These are going to make you wonder why you buy meatballs, and so will it make my family wonder why I never make them for them anymore. I guess I'm stuck back making them again. We're going to get all 4 cloves of our garlic in there. This kind of garlic press you do not have to peel. Some of the other ones you do have to peel for, but this one you don't. Let's see how you can just dig that out with your knife in between. Okay, there is our 4th garlic clove. I try to keep most of my recipes pretty simple because I find that throwing the kitchen sink at a recipe does not make it favorable to majority. Okay, now we need a half a cup of Italian breadcrumbs. Any brand is fine. Whatever your favorite brand is what I recommend using. I happen to be partial to this brand. So we're going to add that in. And then we're going to add 2 eggs. Now, always remember to crack your eggs on a flat surface so you don't drive the shells in. This will keep you from getting botulism, which is very important. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now we're going to mix it good. You'll be glad if you have gloves on at this point because it'll be all in your hands, on your rings. You don't want to wear your rings, hence the reason my wedding band is tattooed on. For many reasons, most of the activities I do are not conducive to wearing rings. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's well mixed. And now we need to form our balls. I like to let the balls sit for a little bit before I fry them. So I have this nifty little scoop so I can make them all the same size. Let me go wash my hands. It's grossing me out. Hold on. And yes, I know I'm going to be touching it again, but I couldn't. Just couldn't. Okay, I should have got a cookie sheet. So here's a cookie sheet. I'm going to put some wax paper on it. And now we'll form our balls. So basically you just go like this, take them out, roll them in your hands, and you have a nice little ball. This will make them so they're pretty much all the same size, and you don't have to worry about some of them burning. Because when you try to form them all yourself, you have a tendency to make them a bunch of different sizes. So we want the flavors to kind of get in. These also can be frozen. They keep in the refrigerator about 3 to 5 days. I personally don't like them in the refrigerator over 3 days. And then they'll keep in the freezer for up to 2 to 3 months. So you can freeze them if you're not going to use them all in one setting. You can also not cook them and freeze them. I personally, with the eggs and stuff in it, it's better if you cook them. They turn out better than if you try to defrost them, because as we know, moisture does go into frozen stuff, so I highly recommend on that. So, anybody have a favorite Italian dish? Throw it out there. Izetta will let me know. Also, if anybody has any recipes that they would like to see, I'd be happy to make them for you, possibly. Next week, we're doing buffalo chicken wraps, which is one of my husband's favorite wraps, and we'll be making potato salad with that. So that's next week, because you know we're getting ready for summer. You guys are going to want some cooler recipes, because if you live anywhere but New England or the West Coast, it's a little hot in the summer. So you can see this 1 pound of meat makes quite a few meatballs.
Can you move it actually over further, because I can't really see it.
Just right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there we go. All of our meat ones are done, and we're ready to move on to our vegetarian ones. And they just need to sit here, and I'm going to move them over on the counter because we'll be cooking them later on the stove. Okay, our oven came on, so let's put our croutons in there and our pecans, and I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes so I can check them and stir them, because I have a tendency to forget when I put stuff in the oven. So we're going to move these over here out of our way and move on to our vegetarian ones. These are a little bit more complex, take a little more effort, but not much, because meat has a tendency to stay put together better than vegetarian meat, which is, I'm using grillers, crumbles. Defrost it before, so it's not frozen. If it's frozen, it's not going to form a meatball, okay? Now, we're going to add to this a cup of Italian breadcrumbs. So when you're cooking with vegetarian versus meat, there's a few differences, but not a whole lot. Meat doesn't stick together like it does with protein. Vegetarian protein doesn't stick together like meat protein, so you have to add more fillers. Also, meat needs salt, vegetarian meat does not. Okay, we're going to add 2 eggs to this. And we're going to add a 1/2 cup of parm. And it's okay to buy your parm shredded. I'm going to be doing some shredding of cheese, but I didn't want to shred it also, because I didn't want this to go on and on and on and on till midnight. So we're going to try to get it done in a reasonable time. A 1/2 cup of 1/2 and 1/2. So you have to moisten the breadcrumbs, hence the eggs and the milk. And then we're going to add 1 shallot, which I am going to mince. Shallot, whatever you want to call it. However you pronounce this lovely little purple, flavorful onion.
Almost had a red onion.
I know. They're tiny and they do get away, but they do give a really good flavor to food. So, chop it up here. Hopefully it doesn't get away from me. It is harder to hold things still with gloves on, I am discovering. So I cut myself cutting a bagel. I did didn't pay attention. I put my pinky in the way, and that was stupid. I know better. And it was with a serrated knife. In fact, it was this knife. Very, very sharp. So we'll chop those up. There you go, nice and minced with our food chopper. If you don't own one, I highly recommend it. You can find them anywhere. Where is that tool? Oh, I thought I had a scraper to pick stuff up with. There it is. They have these wonderful scrapers you can buy to pick up stuff, and I thought maybe I should start using it instead of throwing stuff all over my kitchen. Okay, there we go. We got our onions in there. Now we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic, which I have right here. And I know you see me looking over at the instructions. Well, that's because I usually when I cook, I just cook by the seat of my pants. Anything I've made a lot, so I don't necessarily measure everything, but I'm trying to be good for you guys so you can see. Now we need another teaspoon of Italian seasoning in here.
We can't see it when the things are on that side if you want it close up.
Italian seasoning, and then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of oregano. And I know there's oregano in Italian seasoning, but it needs a little more.
What's the difference between onions and shallots? Denise is asking.
It's kind of a cross between a red onion and a white onion. So it's like you had a green onion get big and then it's kind of pinkish. It has a lot more flavor and depth.
So it's a different plant though, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. Alexa, turn off. Yes, it is a different plant. It is in the onion family. And it is got a lot more flavor. I would say it's kind of sweet. Okay, those are looking good. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay, now we're ready to mix this guy up. I can use a bamboo spoon for this.
This is not a question from the audience, but I'm curious. Why do you have to use your hands to mix up meat, but you can use a wooden spoon to mix up veggie meat?
Okay, veggie meat is not dense and fibrous, whereas meat is dense and fibrous, and the only way to get the ingredients fully incorporated is to get your hands in there and just squeeze it. Whereas with this, I can mix it completely with a spoon because veggie meat is not fibrous. See how that's nice and mixed? Isetta and I are going to be eating vegetarian meatballs for some time to come. Let me get another cookie sheet, and we'll put a piece of parchment paper on it. Like I said, it's better to let these sit because the flavor gets in better and it's just they cook up better.
You can probably come over a little bit further. This way.
This way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can I put this here?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, we've got another one of these. Yes, I have more than one. You can't just have one tool, guys. You must have many. Give into your diva self and buy the fun tools. Okay, so we're going to mold those up. You want to make sure you press them together because vegetarian meatballs can fall apart. Unlike regular meat that fuses together when you heat it. So I highly recommend pushing it together to form them. And these will also keep in the refrigerator 3 to 5 days, up to 3 months in the freezer. After you cook them, when you get ready to reheat them, you can either refry them again, we're going to fry them, or you can put them in the oven and bake them. I highly recommend watching them and making sure that you cover them with tin foil so they don't dry out. That goes for the meat ones also. And I would take them straight from the freezer to the oven. not defrost them. Look at this cute spoon. It has G on it for my last initial that my neighbor gave me. I love it. It used to be in black, but I've already worn it out. And she just gave it to me Christmas. Okay. We're almost done with these. This meal really, it seems, when I told you what we were making, it seemed a lot, but it really isn't that much. It's really a nice meal to do when you don't, and like I said, like the meatballs, if you have them frozen in the freezer, think however many times you need, you can pull them out, and you don't have to make meatballs every time. Okay, so there's our vegetarian meatballs. Let me go wash my hands again. Seems to be my mantra. Okay. And we'll move the meatballs out of the way. Alrighty guys, what is next on our list? We are going to make Jesus sauce. And everybody's like, what? What is Jesus sauce? Well, oh look, I'm pushing stuff around. I have my cute little broom I should be using. Okay, well, I'll tell you the history of Jesus sauce. I one day needed some marinara sauce, but I did not want to go to the store and buy a jar of ragu, which is what I used to buy. And so I said, well, I wonder what I have in my cabinet. So I pulled some stuff out, found some recipes, and started combining stuff together. And in the process, I'm making the sauce, and I tell my husband, please go get me a half a cup of water. And he says to me, well, what do you need it for? And I said, I need it for my sauce. He goes, you know, there's a bottle of red wine here that looks like it's about a half a cup. So why don't you just put that in there instead? So I did, and that night at supper, the kids were like, this is delicious. He goes, yeah. I said, yeah. They go, did you follow the recipe, Kathy? I'm like, well, no, I didn't. But, you know, your dad, he substituted the water for wine, and they were like, oh, he turned the water into wine? And I said, no, Jesus did. So from that day on, it's been known as Jesus sauce. And it's just a humorous thing in our family. So, for your sauce, you're going to chop up an onion. Does not need to be, it can be coarsely done because we're going to emulsify this at the end. So it can be like that. You're going to take your knife and crush your garlic. I've always watched the chefs do this, and I always wanted to do it, and now I do it all the time. Okay, so there we have that ready. We're going to go over here, and we're going to turn on our kettle, our cast iron skillet kettle, and we're going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil.
Holly says that's awesome about the Jesus sauce story.
Thanks, Holly. I'm surprised she hasn't heard it before. Okay, so we're going to add this in here so they can start sauteing. While that's sauteing, we'll get our herbs and salt and pepper stuff together. And let's see. We need a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar is optional, but it does help to cut the acidity of the tomatoes. So a teaspoon of sugar. That kind of reminds me of some rock song, I'm pretty sure that's out there. Half a teaspoon of salt. Don't get carried away with the salt. You can add more if you're one of those people that likes a lot. We're going to put a teaspoon of basil. We're going to get a new measuring spoon.
I can smell whatever's cooking.
Can you? Wow, where's all my teaspoons gone? Okay, a teaspoon of oregano. And 3/4 of a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. You can reduce this. If you leave the red wine out and you leave the crushed red pepper out, that is known as Judas sauce in our house. So, if you want to portray the marinara, go ahead. Okay, so we gotta let that saute for a little bit. Let's check this stuff. Ooh, our croutons are looking good. I killed the pecans. So, for those of you that think I never mess up, there you go. Dead pecans. Dead on arrival.
Ooh, you might need to start those over.
We're going to start those over and trash them. I did tell you that everybody makes mistakes. I think Alexa didn't set a timer last time for me. Okay, our croutons look perfect, so we're going to take them out and set them over here. Yes, I know, I need more counter space.
Or less appliances.
Or less fun tools. I'm not giving up my fun tools. People, drink your wine and be quiet.
Takes through me killing them. Sugar song? Pour some sugar on me, Def Leppard, LOL.
Yes, Kevin, that's the one. Pour some sugar on me. I love that song. He knows I love that song. Okay. Now, this wine is a really good wine. It's at the top of the line. I'm not going to cook with that. I cook with a cheaper bottle of wine. It just needs to be Merlot. You do not want sweet red when you put it in. So, where are we at? Oh. Sauce. It can be in the refrigerator 3 to 5 days. You can freeze it up to 3 months in the freezer. However, like tonight we're having spaghetti. Tomorrow night we're making pizza. So we just kind of take it over. But, so you can freeze it. I don't think ours ever lasts in the freezer more than a couple weeks. So, we hardly have any left over.
Not because of, it can last longer, it's just we eat it.
It can last longer. We just eat a lot of Jesus sauce. And yes, we get a lot of weird looks in the store when someone goes, do we have the ingredients for Jesus sauce? Everybody stops. Excuse me, what did you say? That's right, we said Jesus sauce. Imagine their surprise when it's not in a religious connotation. Origin of marinara sauce. No, there's a fight between Naples and Sicily. We know it originated in Italy. That's all that counts in my book. It originated, the name marinara, translated from Italian, means seafaring or sailor style, because they used to use, that's where it was developed along the ocean when they were making their seafoods with their pasta.
Denise wants to know, if you don't use wine, how much water do you use?
Same amount, half cup. The wine just gives it a deeper, darker flavor, and that's why we use the wine. Okay, your tomatoes and, your onions and garlic should be getting done. So we're going to add in, our seasonings that I measured out and let it cook for another minute or so here. Check our pecans, we don't want to kill them. So let me get some hot pads and I'll show you what it looks like, since we can only do so much with the cameras. So this is what it looks like right now. We're going to add into this our tomatoes and our wine, and then it just simmers. Okay, now you're going to add in, I like fire roasted tomatoes, so I use 2 cans. I really like it when I have my ones that I freeze over the winter, in the summer for the winter, but we've already eaten them all, so there is none. So we have to use bought ones, which makes us all sad. Can of tomato sauce. You can also use a can of crushed tomatoes instead of cut tomato sauce. Either one works. If you want it thicker than I make it, just decrease the amount of wine or water that you add at the end. Or cook it longer. Put our sauce in here. I use the entire can of tomato paste. Now we're going to add our wine. I happen to be using this Merlot. Look at these caps that my friend gave me. Aren't they cute? Liquid therapy, this one says. And this one over here says, sips happen. And then I lost the lid to my heavy creamer, so now I have rough day on it. Who knew they'd be flexible to use in multiple places? So 1/2 cup. Add it in. Our sauce is now done, except for letting it simmer and emulsifying it. So I'm going to stir it. And we're going to move it to the back burner out of the way. I'm also going to recommend that you turn on your spaghetti water at a medium low. Okay, so we're going to put this guy to the back on a low heat so it can simmer. Check our pecans, and whoo, I almost killed them again. Well, but these will work. Okay, so let's put these guys over here. Alrighty, where are we at? Oh, we're in the kitchen. Okay, let's get our Caesar salad dressing made first. So we're gonna make it in here, and let's see. Oh, here it is. 1 clove of garlic. I've already used 1 head, so we're on to another head. So this is going to be our Caesar salad dressing recipe. We are going to put anchovies in here. You do not have to put the anchovies in if you don't want to. Those are not required. It just gives it a more of an umami flavor. Yes, that's basically means savory flavor. But, you know, if it makes you feel good, go ahead and use it. And we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of anchovy paste, which is basically just anchovies that I ground up. There's our 1/2 teaspoon of that. And then we're going to add, I should remember this recipe. I shouldn't have to look at this, but I do. A teaspoon of oregano. Wait, did I look at the right one? No, I didn't. I don't need
This
oregano.
is the problem. This is why you don't follow recipes.
This is why I don't read recipes. Okay, let's just get some of that oregano out because I'm afraid, I don't think it's going to hurt it. I might like it, and I might do this from now on. There you go. See? I told you. I'm a hot mess, but it's still going to turn out well. Okay, now we need a little bit of a tablespoon of lemon juice, which is basically 1/2 lemon. Pretty close. So we're going to get our little measuring cup here that has tablespoons on it, because you can really overdo lemon. Actually, it's about about 1/4 of a lemon. Okay, add our lemon juice. It helps if you read the right recipe. 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. gives it a little bit of zing. And half a cup of mayo. Yes, this is how I always open it. Yeah, otherwise I end up breaking every nail that I don't have. In other words, it breaks down into the bed of my nails and I don't like it. Okay, so we need a half cup. These are great measuring cups. If you don't have any of these ones that push in and out like this, I highly recommend, because it's so much easier when you're doing measuring stuff like this. You can actually get all your ingredients out. And you can tell I'm really exact about everything. Not. Okay, so we got our mayo in there. We're going to add a teaspoon of Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Worcestershire, whatever. The W word, whichever you want to call it. And we're going to put a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese in there. And we're going to, let's see, we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and pepper. And mix it up. And here's hoping that I did not ruin our Caesar salad. When Andy eats it, we will know if it's been ruined. Making sure I don't have anything in the oven. Okay. Alrighty then. Mix this up. And our Caesar salad dressing is ready to go with a little surprise. Alright. Now, what's next? Oh, we're going to finish off our focaccia bread so we can get it in the oven. This will be on my Patreon. This is a wonderful, easy recipe to make. Put your, ooh, now we've got to get the oil. Put some oil on top. You put oil underneath my dough. Then you spread it around on top and you put little holes in. Get yourself a couple of pieces of garlic to press on top, and then we're also going to put some herbs on top. And then we'll pop it in the oven to bake for about 15 to 20 minutes. This is a half batch. I like to make a half batch because my family doesn't eat the whole thing, so we like the bread, but we don't want that much. And olive oil is what's going to make it nice and crispy and delicious. Get all my garlic out of there. Okay, so I'm going to move that around a little bit. And then I have some basil. We're going to take off this. We don't want the stems. We just want the leaves, okay? So just pull those babies off.
Move it closer. You keep putting it on the wrong side of the camera.
Sorry. I'm not very good with these cameras. The cameras are not liking me real well today. Okay, now we're going to do our thyme. And the way to get thyme off is to go against the stem, down, and that'll pull it off the leaves. And so, because you don't want the stems of thyme because they're very, very woody.
Can you show that again? I missed it.
Pulls, if you do this, it pulls them off. Especially if you don't have gloves on, it's easier. Let me see if I can find a better one. This is probably a better one. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's like, can you do it down by the bread?
Yeah. Oops, that one just broke on me. But see, I'm pulling it again down towards the base of the stem to pull the leaves off. And this is the best way to de-stem herbs. You can also freeze them just briefly, and it will also come off easily that way.
Ann says, can you stand the test of time?
Ha ha ha! And you're hilarious. little sister loves to torment me. She loves to cook too. And let me tell you guys, you need to start sending in messages because I'm trying to get her to come up here, down here and cook with me. Or we may end up going, she's building a new kitchen, so maybe we'll go cook in her kitchen one time. So we're going to chop it up, our herbs. Sometimes I only put rosemary, but today I decided to put a little bit of everything on there. Just to add a little more flavor. I mean, especially since I messed up the Caesar dressing already. Then I have flaky salt, or as the girls call it, fancy salt. I keep it in here because it comes in a box and I don't want to get it solid. And you sprinkle it all over the top.
Ann says we're coming.
Alrighty, Ann. I know, I kind of threw you under the bus on live streaming. Okay, we're going to put this in the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
Okay, I'm getting messy. I'm going to get in trouble here. Just a minute, let me clean up a little bit before Izetta calls me out.
I was just wondering if you were leaving that green knife up there as your co-host of the show because it cut your finger.
Yeah, it's my co-host. No, I'm going to use it again.
Okay.
Smart aleck. Okay, now where are we at? Oh, we're sitting here. Okay, we're going to make the pesto now. And I have a little 2-cup guy here. A little 2-cup food processor that works great.
The pesto's also a Patreon thing.
Yes, the pesto recipe is on Patreon, so all you gotta do is see what it looks like.
It will be on Patreon.
It will eventually be on Patreon. It's not on there yet. Because poor Izetta, she works another job, so we can't ask her to do too much. Okay, let's cut the bottom off of here. Pour this in here. And when you make your pesto like this from the freezer, it is like you just went out to your garden and picked your basil. As you can tell, it's very, very green. Okay, we're going to add into here 1/4 cup. Shoot. Let me get a different 4th cup. I just have been throwing stuff everywhere. 1/4 cup of cheese, Parmesan. And 1/4 cup of pecans that I didn't kill. Let me see. No, they're still delicious. I'm in there. Put this on. Oh, it helps if I turn the power on. And there, my people, is pesto. Pesto keeps in the refrigerator for about 4 or 5 days. No, 5 to 7 days. In the freezer, 3 to 4 months. Believe it or not, the Romans are the ones that started making pesto. Who knew? We're going to set that over to the side. Okay, now we need to start frying our meatballs. So I'm going to move over here. Get them in. I'm only going to spray just a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of here for my meatballs, my meatballs. You don't need a whole lot of oil with them. I'm going to recommend turning it down on medium so you don't burn them. Oh, those are the vegetarian ones, wrong ones.
You want to explain why you're starting with meat?
I'm starting with meat just because they take longer to cook. And I do like to cook them, like I said, over a lower heat so that they cook slower. Low and slow with meat always is better. You'll be less likely to have tough meat if you do that. I can't fit all those in there, but I got most of them in. Let me wash my hands. start the vegetarian ones also on a low heat with vegetable oil.
This is like fancy spaghetti, because spaghetti is supposed to be an easy thing to make.
Huh?
This is like a fancy spaghetti, because spaghetti is supposed to be like the easy meal, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, you just pull out a bottle of marinara and do it, which, if I'm cooking at home by myself and I'm not trying to tell everybody what to do, this meal takes me about 45 minutes. So, that's the difference. Okay, we've got our meatballs going. Let's go ahead and get our stuff together for in here so we can start making our Alfredo sauce. So, if you do not want to have to make Alfredo from scratch, don't listen. Don't just ignore me. Talk on the phone. Do something else, because once you make it from scratch, you'll never go back. And I can attest to that. So this makes good Alfredo sauce. You can also mix it with your spaghetti sauce and make pink sauce, which is also delicious, and pesto with it. It's just an absolute chef's kiss. Okay, I'm doing a half batch because I feel like that's plenty. So I need 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. I told you it was a hot mess. I lost this lid the other day when I was cooking. I probably threw it away. But, once it goes in the trash, it's gone. But isn't that a beautiful fit? Okay. So, we're going to get the other stuff together, but this goes on the stove and it simmered. We do this the very last thing. We'll bring it to a simmer for 2 minutes, then we'll add the seasoning for 1 minute, then we'll add the cheese, and it's done. So it's very quick. So we're going to set this over here. Let's check our meatballs. Oh yeah, they're getting golden brown. I'm going to turn them over, maybe turn them down just a hair. If you want to keep their round shape, you can deep fry them. I feel like that will dry them out, but here we are. You can also bake them in like mini muffin pans, and that also is nice. Put the rest of them in there since they're shrinking up now.
Man, now I'm thinking we need a third camera.
Great. Okay, I'm going to turn the meatballs here. I want to say a huge thanks to Izetta, my manager, my everything. She does everything. She does everything. She does the photography. She did my logo. She does the editing. It's a blessing to have a daughter so talented. Okay. Now, back to my list. Okay, so we're doing our Alfredo. We need to get the rest of the stuff together for the Alfredo sauce. So we're going to need some garlic. I like to put a tablespoon of garlic. It calls for 1 teaspoon, but I use a lot more because we like the flavor of garlic to be heavy in our Alfredo sauce. So this is a personal preference. To be very honest with you. So we're going to add our garlic in here. Mince it. Press it, whatever you want to call it. Woo! This guy may be a tablespoon on himself. He's a huge one. Yeah, that's probably plenty. Okay, so I use a monster piece of garlic, so I'm set. Now I'm going to add to this Italian seasoning. I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup. 1/4 of a teaspoon. Why did I say 1/4 of a cup? Oh my God. I'm having trouble with my Italian seasonings. Okay. And I'm going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. And I am going to use 1/4 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And that is all other than a cup of Parmesan that goes in to Alfredo sauce. Can you believe the few ingredients is in it, guys? I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, let's get ourselves a cup of parm. There we go. It's a little bit much. I bet it gets upset if I overdo it. Okay, got our cheese ready. Let's check our spaghetti sauce and stir it and see how, oh, it's looking good. It's almost ready to. Perfect. Turn it off, down on low there. Give our meatballs another, let's check our bread. Oh, okay guys, it's smelling really good. I rarely buy French bread anymore because I end up making it more than I buy it. So our meatballs are getting done over here. Turn my vegetarian ones. You have to get your vegetarian ones done too, guys. Remember, there's eggs in them, so they can't just not be cooked well. You should not be eating raw eggs. I know some people do, but you shouldn't. Okay. Okay, those are looking good. Now, we're going to finish off making our Caesar salad. And I'm going to turn up my spaghetti water so it'll come to a boil. Guys, we're almost to the end. This meal is almost done. Here's our bowl. We're going to use a bamboo bowl for our Caesar salad because I liked it and I felt like using it today. Heart of romaine. Once again, they say it's washed. I don't care. Take out the outside leaves. Throw them in the trash. They're gross. Who knows who touched them? Cut the base off. You can actually plant this and it will grow romaine lettuce. It's crazy. I've done it. You can shred this. We don't, because if we don't eat all the Caesar salad, my dog Ripper loves Caesar salad. He literally sits at the table and waits for him to get himself to get some Caesar salad. That's how much he loves Caesar salad. Okay, so we got that. We're going to throw our croutons that have cooled on top of here. We're not going to mix this up until the very last second because I don't like it to get soggy, but we will get it ready. Then we have some Parmesan, some Regano, blah, 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 Italian cheese. Did you get what that was, guys? Kevin can't pronounce it, cheese. So we're going to shave off some pieces to go in here. And fresh cheese, block of cheese smells so good. So put as much as you want in. My family's a bit of a rat, so I'll put a little extra in. Alrighty, so our Caesar salad is now ready to finish off. Our pesto's done. Our Caesar salad dressing is here waiting. Another sip of wine. Okay, back to the job at hand. Let's, Alexa, how much time on our timer? Hey Alexa, how much time on the timer?
You have 1 minute and 40 seconds left on your 15-minute timer.
Okay, Alexa, can you add 5 minutes to that timer?
5 minutes added.
Okay,
You
so
now have about 6 minutes and 41 seconds
thank
left.
you. Okay, we're going to start our Alfredo sauce. Let me change the pan places. Okay, so we're going to start, and you want to do it on medium-low, or about medium. And so we need to melt our butter and bring our heavy cream to a boil. While that's doing that, I'm going to clear this off so we can start pulling things out of the oven here in a minute. goodness, it looks like a war zone.
Should I try moving the camera over there so people can see what you're doing?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
I said it's gonna move the camera, so just don't pay attention, guys.
You might see.
You might see her, the elusive person that does all the hard work. All I do is do what I love, cooking. Okay. This thing is really cool. I love it. You can probably see our meatballs. They're coming
Well,
along.
not yet. I haven't changed
Oh.
the camera yet. I'm still on the wide angle. Now they can see it.
There's our meatballs. Aren't they looking good?
That's actually not that bad to switch over. I think we can do that in the future.
Okay. Okay, so we want to whisk this as we get it close to being ready. So it needs to come to a simmer, and then we let it simmer for 2 minutes once it comes to a simmer. If you're wondering what an emulsion blender looks like, this is what it looks
I
like.
can see both.
This is what it looks like. This one is a KitchenAid. I also have another one, but these work really great for blending stuff that you don't want to pour into your blender or anything like that. So it's really nice for soups and sauces and stuff. So this is what we're going to use on our spaghetti sauce. Alexa, set a 2-minute timer for Alfredo.
Alfredo timer.
Okay,
2 minutes.
once it
Starting
starts
now.
simmering, you need to whisk it. You do not want to burn your milk. That would be very, very bad. Let's see how our water's going. It's not to a boil. Okay, well, it should come to a boil. Trying to get our spaghetti done. Rotate our vegetarian ones.
Oh wow, I even made it so you can see them right in the very top corner.
They're looking good too. My mother loved these. Whenever I would visit her, she would make me make her like triple batch and put them in the freezer for her to have when I wasn't there. Whoop. Okay. I don't make a vegetable with this one since I make Caesar salad because there's a lot of things. Sometimes I do, I don't always, but sometimes I'll make sauteed broccoli to go with it, or oven roasted broccoli. So this is just our butter and our heavy cream right now. And 2 minutes seems like an eternity. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm gonna move. Sorry guys, I keep moving.
Careful, Mom. You're gonna. Hey, Mom, careful. You're gonna dump.
Your Alfredo timer is done.
Okay, thanks Alexa, turn off.
Alexa, stop. It looks. I think another one went off.
My bread one.
Yeah.
Okay, well we're gonna add this. The bread was not quite done. You have to watch the bread and just, you want it golden brown. It's an approximation. It depends on the kind of pan you bake it in and a whole bunch of different things. So we're gonna cook this for about a minute. Woo, my kitchen is warm. And no, I don't have AC up here. I just have fans. Okay, now we can add in our Parmesan. If it gets a little too thick, like this looks like it's going to be a little thick, you can either add more milk or, like I like to do, get your bottle of dry white wine that you use for cooking and add a splash in, and that will thin it. Just another splash. We don't want it to get too thick. And you really won't have much flavor from that white wine, but it does add a little bit, and it's better than more milk. Alexa, turn off. So we're going to put it on low. We have our meatballs on low. And our other meatballs on low. And guess what, guys? I thought it was so organized, and my water is not coming. Everything's ready except my water.
It's probably because it was on the warming.
Oh, it's not even. I turned the wrong burner up.
Oh.
Okay, let's do our spaghetti sauce. I don't know if you guys can see this or not.
They can see in the
Corner.
Yeah, you're passing into some of it, but sorry, I didn't know you were going to do the emulsion there. I thought you were going to do it on the counter.
So I'm going to emulsify it. I just put it, now, put it into your pan. Put it flat on the bottom. Do not turn it to the side. It will splatter everywhere. You will get it all over you. Do not do that. You will have red sauce all over your entire kitchen. Nextly, do not let your husband do it. He will also get sauce all over your kitchen, and you will have to clean it up. So I just kind of pick it up and go around, and I will tilt it a little bit to the side, but I know how to do it. Once you know, I want it on, yeah, that's it, 2 is the hottest. So you can blend it to a small, you can have it lumpy or not lumpy. We kind of go in between lumpy and fine. Okay, there's our sauce. It's done. Make sure you unplug before you take the tool attachment off, which is dishwasher safe. Do not leave it plugged in. That's a good way to lose your fingers. Okay, our pasta's almost ready to come. Ooh, that's looking good. It's not too thick. I won't get in trouble. I might just add wine to it all the time. I like how that doesn't get too thick. Okay, our bread is still not done. Why is our bread taking so long? Well, we'll just leave it in there. Let's mix up our Caesar salad dressing. Our Caesar salad. That may have been too much, but here we are. You probably only want to put half. I put too much. Wow, we're adding some more lettuce. This is like out of control, too much. Oh sure, I got rid of all my knives. Luckily I have a countertop, it also works as a butcher block. Ripper is going to be a happy dog tonight. I've never seen a dog that loves Caesar salad as much as that dog does. Okay. There's our Caesar salad ready. Our pesto's ready. Let's remove a little blade. Check our pasta water. Finally, we can add our pasta. Okay. Put your pasta in. Make sure you have added olive oil, salt. Always salt your pasta. About a teaspoon or so. It doesn't have to be heavy, but you do want some salt on there. You don't want your pasta to have no flavor. Put your pasta in. I'm using thin pasta. That's in between regular pasta and angel hair. Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes. Alexa.
Oh, like you unplugged her.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll just set a timer on here.
You sure that's not 2 hours that you're setting?
I don't know.
I'll just set a timer on my phone.
Yeah, you better, because like I
How
think
long?
I just set it 5.5 minutes.
5.5 minutes.
Okay, now you should never use your timer on a cooking stream that you've never used. Okay, so I like to stir my pasta so it doesn't stick together. Pasta will stick together, and it's gross when it comes out and it's a big old clump. So kind of stir it a couple times throughout the cooking process to make sure that doesn't happen. This is what they call a pasta fork, spoon. Works really well for serving and for stirring your pasta around. All right, let's check our meatballs. Turn them over some more. So the sides that aren't brown can get brown. And we'll check our veggie meatballs. They're looking good. This meal is more about just paying attention to what you're doing and not cooking like Kathy. Cook like yourself. Okay, while we're finishing off the last of this, let me remind you, we will from now on, for the next couple month or so, we will be both on Facebook, my Kathy Gordon Facebook page, and on YouTube. At the end of next month, we will be switching to YouTube only. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see it live. Also, you can go back in and watch the videos at any time, and they will also be uploaded to Facebook and my Facebook business page, but they won't be live. Also, we do have a goal of Exetta told me I have a goal of getting 1,000 people on my YouTube channel. So please share, please invite your friends, please ask them to subscribe. Ask your mom to subscribe. You know, anybody you can think of that likes to cook, doesn't like to cook, needs to learn to cook, fresh out of college, you get the picture. Also, right now, Exetta is in the process of designing my first apron for my business. Eventually, it will be coming up for sale, both in iron-on or silk-screen, right?
We'll get to that when we
Well, we'll see. So it's coming. You will see me wearing it before it's available. So, because you know, I don't have enough aprons yet. Is there anything else I forgot? I want to thank everyone that has already subscribed, and please continue to do so. And also for all of you that reach out and give us comments, I appreciate it. Let me stir my spaghetti again. Looks good. I don't understand.
It looks cooked on bottom.
You think it's brown enough? Yeah.
Remember last time it didn't really get that brown on top either.
Yeah. Okay, so here's our focaccia bread. We're going to pour it out on this cutting board so we can cut it up. Gloves are not my friend today. It's stuck. Didn't do that last time.
Well, it's because you're on camera.
It's because I'm on my stream.
Don't burn yourself, please. I think it got cooked. I think it just...
I have never had it stick in here. I didn't know know why it's doing this. And I even had lots of oil in the bottom. Okay guys, usually it pops right out, no problem. It's like, oh, you're gonna do a live stream? Let me see if I can mess it up. Okay. Just chop it up into pieces. You can do this bread any flavored topping. You can do it with just sea salt on garlic or just plain sea salt on top. It's whatever your pleasure is.
We got a minute till this gets done.
Okay, so we're getting ready to plate all this stuff, guys.
Looks so good though, Peggy says.
Thank you, Peggy. It will be delicious. Let's see. I'm going to start putting hot plates over here so I can have stuff over here to make the plate with. Put my spaghetti sauce over. Okay, we're going to drain our pasta. Make sure you get all the water out. This is a pasta kettle. If you do not have one, you need one. They sell them online. You can find them almost anywhere. Add a little olive oil so your pasta won't stick together. Okay, now we'll bring the Alfredo sauce over. And we'll start making a plate.
Where your focaccia bread is the perfect place to set your plate.
Okay. We're going to see if I can plate this pretty or not. We'll get our spaghetti.
So much.
Add some marinara sauce. A dollop of Alfredo. Some pesto. Some Caesar salad. Piece of bread and our meatballs. And I'm going to add vegetarian meatballs to this plate. And here you go. Here is your Italian night in a thing. I look forward to seeing you next week to do buffalo chicken wraps with potato salad. Have a great evening.